guys. Jackie's.
Kadosh, again, we're Bezrat Hashem, Erev Tov. We are continuing with the Kinyan Masechta. We're first going to do a Chazara, what we just learned a few minutes ago. The Chazara that we just learned a few minutes ago was, remember that we are trying to focus on the Mishnah. When the Mishnah said, Rabbi Eliezer says, Miyom Tov v'Nishon Shel Chag, we are trying to understand where does he get that from. So the Gemara asked, where does he learn it from? Does he learn it from Lulav? Or does he learn it from Nisucha Mayim? Now the Gemara is going to say, what's the difference? Obviously, there has to be some difference, because if not, what do I care? So he comes and he says, right, as follows. He comes and he says, no, there is a big difference. If you learn it from Lulav, it's only during the day. So it's just like the Lulav is during the day, so too you mentioned Shiur during the day. If you're going to learn it from Nisucha Mayim, it's from the nighttime. So just like Nisucha Mayim is from the nighttime, so too you would mention it during the nighttime. So says the Gemara, so now which one is it? You have to decide. So now we already know the halakha, because we know how we act, we only during the daytime. So we already know that he's learning it from the Lulav. But the Gemara obviously is trying to ask this question, trying to understand. So comes Rabbi Avu. Rabbi Avu says, he comes and he learns. No, he learns it from Lulav. And therefore, obviously, it's going to be done during the daytime. So now the Gemara is going to say, okay, fine, Chazak Baruch. How does he know that? How does Rabbi Avu know, right? How do you learn it from? Whether it's from the Lulav or from the Nisucha Mayim. So the first answer is that he's learning it from a Maseches. Second answer, from a Braita. And now this is where we're going to continue today to do the Braita. I'll read it inside one more time. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Rabbi Eliezer says, Miyom Tov Arishon Shel Chag, from the first day of Yom Tov of Chag. Ibaya Lehu, we're asking the question. Rabbi Eliezer, according to Shitat Rabbi Eliezer, Meheicha Gamirla, from where is he learning it from? Milulav Gamala, does he learn it from Lulav? Or Nisucha Mayim Gamala, or is he learning it from Nisucha Mayim? So now we're going to explain, because we're going to elaborate the two sides of the coin. Milulav Gamala, do you tell me that he learns it from the Lulav? Ma Lulav Bayom, just like the Lulav is going to be during the daytime, yeah, Malulav Bayom, just like the Lulav is during the daytime, Afaskara Bayom, so to the Askara is during the daytime, which means just like you do Netilat Lulav during the day, you're going to mention Meshulach during the day. Or Dilmar, maybe Nisucha Mayim Gamala. You learn it from Nisucha Mayim. Ma Nisucha Mayim Be'orta, just like Nisucha Mayim is done during the nighttime. The Amar Mor, because Mor says, you have to tell me now. Netilat Lulav, that it's going to be during the day, everybody knows that. But how do you know that it's going to be done? How do you know that Nisucha Mayim is nighttime? So he brings you the pasuk. The pasuk says, "Uminchatam v'niskehem." What does that mean? Uminchatam v'niskehem. Just like over there, when you're going to bring the mincha and the nesachim that comes with the korban mincha, right? Those nesachim could be done during the nighttime. As long as you brought the mincha during the daytime, you could bring the nesachim, which is the wine libations, during the nighttime. Now again, as I already explained, there's a difference between wine libations and water libations, because the wine libations, you first have to bring the korban, and then you bring the wine libations. The water libations, even without the fact that you bring it in the nighttime, it's already enough. He says, so too askara is going to be during the nighttime. So that's the difference between the two differences, between lulav and nisucha mayim. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Remember that Tashema always is that we try to analyze and we're trying to prove one way or the other way. So Tashema, we're going to come and listen, come and hear, come and learn. What is right? Ta, come, Shema, listen, hear, learn, whichever one it is to understand, right? They're all the same translations. But the concept is that we're trying to come and bring a proof. So Tashema, we say, Da'amar Rabbi Avu, says Rabbi Avu, Lo lemadar Rabbi Eliezer, Ela milulav. Rabbi Eliezer only learned it from lulav. Now, how does Rabbi Avu know this? So, Ika de'amne, some people say, Rabbi Avu Gemara Gemirele, he learned it from a Masoret. Gemara, he learned it, Gemirele, he learned this Gemara as a Masoret. Ika de'amne, and some people say, Matznita Shmiale, he learned it from a Braita. Now I'm going to go outside, and this is where we're starting today. One more time, what's the outside? We are now going to say, which Braita? You have to tell me the Braita, right? You learned it from a Braita. Where's the Braita? Right? No, so tradition is a tradition. You can't ask on a tradition. I accept it from my rabbi. His from his rabbi. He continues going up. There's no tradition. But the Braita is somewhere. So what is this Braita? So the Gemara says the Braita is like this. The Braita asks, Just like the Mishnah started, Mematai Maskirin, right, at the Ala Geshamim, same thing. Mematai, or here it's a little bit different, but here, if you realize, the Braita says Mematai Maskirin Ala Geshamim. It did not say like the Mishnah says Mematai Maskirin Gevurot Geshamim, and that's why the Gemara actually asked them. You remember the Gemara asked, Velitni, right, Velitni, Mematai Maskirin Ala Geshamim. Why do you have Gevurot? Why was the Gemara going to ask that? Because there is a Braita that says, the Braita says Mefurash without Gevurot. Mematai Maskirin Ala Geshamim. It's a Braita. Right? Remember, a Braita is after the Mishnayot came a Braitot, and the Braita asked the question. The Gemara says, the Braita says, Reb Eliezer Omer, Mishat Netilat Lulav. Mefurash. What does Reb Eliezer say? From the time that you take the Lulav. So if I'm going to ask you right now, from where do you learn you're allowed to do Maskirin Gevurot Keshem? Where do you learn that you do it during the daytime? Where do you learn the Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag? You learn from Lulav. It says Mefurash. Mishat Netilat Lulav. Now, by the way, if you already brought the Braita, we're going to bring the full Braita. So the full Braita is, Rabbi Eliezer says, Mishat Netulat Lulav. Rabbi Yoshua says, Mishat Anachato. I killed two birds with one stone. Why? When do I put down the Lulav?
What?
When do I put down the Lulav? On the seventh day, after you finish Hoshana Rabbah. What's the next day? Shmini Atzeret. Now you understand. Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Yoshua, what did he say to Mishnah? Basof. Yom Tov Acharon Shel Chag. What is that? Shmini Atzeret. Why Shmini Atzeret? Because you put down the lulav. Mishat from the time hanachato. Still learning it from the lulav, but it's hanachato when you put it down, when you left it, when you stopped it. So says Rabbi Eliezer, 1 second. We know that the 4 species are in order to have us goodwill in front of us to do with water. So these 4, they cannot survive without water. Try having an etrog without water. Arvenachal, the arava without water. The hadas without water. The lulav without water. If you don't have water, wallo, there's nothing there. You need water. So therefore, they're coming liratzot alamayim. So therefore, just like the world cannot be without water, so too, we have to come and we have to be using, we're starting the using of the lulav and etrog with the water. And we're doing, so therefore, Rabbi Eliezer makes sense. Doesn't it make sense? At the end of the day, Rabbi Eliezer is saying, 1 second, what are you doing? The lulav. When you pick up the lulav, when you're doing the lulav is for the water. So therefore, just like at the beginning of the Chag, everything is for the water, and that's what we're doing in the mind. We should mention it at the beginning of the Chag. That's when we should mention it. Comes Rabbi Yoshua, Amar lo Rabbi Yoshua, Ba'alo geshamim bechag, siman klala. Siman klala. It's a siman klala. Amar lo. So now it comes out, by the way, that you have a dialogue, which was a hidden dialogue that you didn't have in the Mishnah. Meaning, if you remember, because in the Mishnah, we had no reasoning. Meaning, it just sounded like this. It sounds, Rabbi Eliezer, Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag. Rabbi Yoshua, Yom Tov Acharon Shel Chag. Why? Nobody asked me why, which I'm actually very interested in. Why not? Nobody asked me why. You understand? Ask me why. Very good. So, okay. So you're smart. You already know. The Gemara is going to deal with it. But why? So now you know the background. You have the background. So what happens? He comes and he says, why in the world would you mention it? Amalo Rabbi Eliezer, says Rabbi Eliezer, this we do have in the Mishnah. I never told you to ask for it. I just said to mention it. And just like Tchiyat HaMetim, you mention it all year round. It's not at the proper time. When is Tchiyat HaMetim? After 120, or not after 120. Hopefully Mashiach will come now. Right? And after Mashiach comes now, then we have the Tchiyat HaMetim. So he says, Kach maskirim gevurot keshamim kol hashana. So too you could come and mention it the entire year. But it's only in the proper time. Lefichach. Therefore, says Rabbi Eliezer, and this is what we said, and in the Gemara we're going to answer Rabbi Eliezer. In ba leaskir kol hashana kula maskir. According to Shitat Rabbi Eliezer, if you behemet want to mention all year round, you're allowed to. There's no problem whatsoever. Okay? We're looking inside. The Gemara says, "My he." What is it? What is it? What is a Braita? Because remember, Rabbi Avu, we just said. Some people say Rabbi Avu learned it from a tradition. Some people say that Rabbi Avu learned it from a Braita. Where's the Braita? My he. What is that? The Taanis we learned it a Braita. Me'matai maskirin ala geshamim. From when do we mention on the rain? When do we mention the rain? Rabbi Eliezer says, Mishat netilat lulav. From the time that you take the lulav. When is that? Yom Tov Rishon Shel Sukkot. So it's mashma like that Rabbi Avu is mifurash, that the what? That Rabbi Eliezer is learning from netilat lulav. Just like we said. Rabbi Yoshua says, Nishat anachato, when you put it down. What do you mean when you put it down? When you don't take it anymore. So after the 7th day of Hoshana Rabbah, when you just put it down, on the 8th day, that's when you're going to start mentioning the Mashiv Roch, Munidi Geshem. So now we understand also Shittat of Yoshua in the Mishnah when it says Yom Tov Acharon Shulchan. Amar Rabbi Eliezer, says Rabbi Eliezer, Hoil Varbata Minim Alalu Enan Ba'in Ela Leratzot Al Maim. Again, says Rabbi Eliezer, Hoil. What's Hoil? Since Varbata Minin Halalu, that these 4 species, Arba is 4. Arba'ata minin, 4 species. Halalu, these ones, which is again, the etrog, the lulav, adas, whatever. Enan ba'in ella. How many times did I tell you guys that the Torah, the Gemara many times speaks in a double negative? Double negative means enan, which is not, ba'in, to coming, ella, but rather, right? Enan, just say, they're only coming to do this. No, it's saying, it's not coming, but rather to do this. That's the way the Gemara speaks. Enan ba'in ella, to what? It says, leratzot alamayim, to make that we should bring up our zikaron, right, in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we should have a blessings on the water. Why? Because it's a hint. Meaning when we come and we take the lulav and etrog, what are we hinting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? We're hinting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, keshem sharba minina lalu, just like these 4 species. Efshar bahem below mayim, efshar. It's impossible. You cannot. Efshar, right? Right? You cannot be with them. They cannot grow forth. They cannot sprout. Below mayim, without water. Kach, so too, the world cannot be without water. And if so, the askarat geshamim and the tefillah are coming leratzot al mayim. It's fitting to start from the shat of netilat lulav. So basically, he brought a beautiful proof. The beautiful proof is aywa. Netilat lulav is for the water. So therefore, already from the beginning, when you do netilat lulav, you should already mention on the water. Just like you take the lulav and etrog, that's also remembering on the water. So too you should mention Mashiv Roch Maseches, which is remembering on the water. Samar lo Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Yoshua comes in our Mishnah and he says, Ribono shel olam, alo geshamim b'chag eno l'siman klala. We already learned this in the Mishnah. He says geshamim during the chag is a siman klala. So why would you mention it on the chag? So he answers him. Amar lo Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer tells him. Amar lo. He said to him, Rabbi Eliezer, right? Af ani, also me, also I. Lo amarti, I did not say lishol, to ask, right, for the rain. Ella laskir, to mention the rain. We're not asking for it. It's not she'elah. It's laskir. We're just coming and we're mentioning it. Where is the rain mentioned? In the bracha of Tchiyat HaMetim. 1 second. When is Tchiyat HaMetim? We know that Tchiyat HaMetim is after the Mashiach. After the Mashiach will come Tchiyat HaMetim. So imagine, it's not the time right now. Halvai or Chalal, Be'ezrat Hashem, the Mashiach comes right now, and then afterwards will be Tchiyat HaMetim. By the way, we don't even know how long it will be in between. Meaning we don't know if there's even a ritva, there's this, and there could be, there's 2 Tchiyat HaMetim. There's Tchiyat HaMetim of the tzaddikim that will come immediately, and then there's going to be Tchiyat HaMetim of the other people that will come later on. But it's not, we don't know exactly. So therefore, what he's saying is, just like Tchiyat HaMetim, Maskir Kol HaShana Kula, you mention it all year round in the Tefillah Birkat Nechei HaMetim. Ve'ena ela bizmana, but it's only going to be in the proper time. When is bizmana?
The proper time.
And lati lavo, when in the future. It's not now. Kach maskirin givurot kashamim kol shana. So too, we're going to mention givurot kashamim kol shana the entire year. Ve'ena ela bizmana, but it's only after in the proper time. Meaning, even though you're mentioning it now in Sukkot, the proper time is really going to be after Sukkot, because you don't want it to come now, right? But obviously now it's a siman klala, but you just want to remember, you want to remind Hashem, right, that bezrat Hashem, that it should come bibracha. Right, that's what you're doing. And therefore finishes Rabbi Eliezer. If you want to mention Givurot Geshamim the entire year, even during the summertime, right? Even during the summertime, Maskir, there's no problem, you can mention it. And even though the Chachamim did not obligate you to do it in the summertime, they only told you that you're obligated to do it during the wintertime. Nevertheless, if you wanted to, Bechavod, you want to mention in the middle of the summer? You mention in the summer, you mention in the winter, you mention in the spring, in the autumn. So same thing. Do it whenever you want. Also the exact same thing. That is what we're going to finish until